Welcome to another episode of Trending Niches. This is episode number 25, the first one of 2023, and it's really nice to see some trends or designs selling which are not Christmas related. So let's get started with niche number one. So the first trend I found for you is very interesting because it's a pretty new one and it doesn't really have that much competition compared to some of the bigger trends that are currently happening or going to happen in the near future. So this one is dad tags. And it's a funny design about, well, dads essentially using some of the stuff they've bought their children. You can probably spin this in a funny way as well, rather than just copying what it says right here. And the interesting thing is that, look at these first two designs that show up. They're both very, very new. So this one is from September, so that's a couple of months old. But this one is from December 30th, and it's got a 300k BSR. So literally just a week old and already doing really well. And I know that a lot of these designs here show as a 0 BSR, but that's just because PODCS hasn't indexed them properly yet. They're all pretty recent. And I did look on Merch by Amazon for these designs, and I noticed that quite a lot of them are also selling. They have like a 400k BSR, 200k BSR, and they're most of the time fairly recently posted. So very interesting to see this sort of niche pop up out of the blue. And there's also different design styles that sell. We've got it mixed with the American flag. We've got like these vintage sunset colors right here in some of the designs. All of these are pretty much on black shirts, optimized for dark designs. So maybe you could flip that around, make some designs that are based for white t-shirts or lighter colors, and that way try and stand out a bit in search results. And if we look at the detail page right here within PODCS, we can see the BSR history of this design, and it was doing not so well towards the end of last year, and then suddenly jumped up, selling really well throughout November and December. And yeah, it even carried on after Christmas. So I'm not sure what the deal is with this design. You'd usually expect quite a big of a drop off after sort of the 24th, 25th at least. Most designs already dropped off after the 15th or 16th when Amazon didn't deliver in time. But this design carried on selling with a decent BSR, so it's definitely a trend worth considering entering right now while it's still doing well and seeing a lot of new designs selling. Moving on to niche number two, we've got rabbits, or specifically the year of the rabbit, because it is Chinese New Year in just a couple of weeks. So these designs are doing really well at the moment. I typed in rabbits, so not all of these are to do with the Chinese New Year, but it's definitely worth entering that niche right now because it's going to be doing really well throughout the next week, 2 weeks. Let's just appreciate this design right here for a second. That's such a funny idea. We've got duck right here and rabbit right there. So the first thing you'd see is a rabbit. If you turn your head a little bit to match the duck sort of graph, then you can actually see a duck there as well, which is a hilarious idea. Whoever came up with that, props to you. And yeah, other than that, I mean, if you want to enter the Chinese New Year niche, you can see the sort of style here, a lot of red and yellow colors. Obviously there's rabbits, there's 2023 in these designs featuring quite a lot, which is to be expected. As you can see right here, the year of the rabbit repeats itself every so often. I don't know the exact number, but you can see the years right here listed as well, which is a good idea. So 2035 would be the next time it happens. And that way you have sort of a design that doesn't just sell right now, but could sell again in like 10 years down the line. So really interesting niche and a fun one to design for. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to find a lot of pre-made graphics to suit this niche, and your best chances of getting sales within this trend are right now, so get designing. Trend number three that's going on right now is hearts or heart designs, and there's an obvious reason for that, and that is Valentine's Day coming up. I even noticed some shirts that are really newly posted with decent BSRs, so that's why I wanted to recommend this niche. Valentine's Day isn't at the peak of its trend yet, but I'm going to make some videos really soon for sort of t-shirt design ideas that you could create for Valentine's Day, because it's going to peak probably around the end of January, beginning of February, due to it being on the 14th of February, right? That's when most people are going to look for gifts. And some of the cool ideas that I've found here are this one, for example, with the musical notes, all filled sort of, or all placed within a heart shape. We've got these dabbing hearts, the I Love My designs, or I Love Hot Moms. Those have been doing well for absolutely ages. I don't think that has anything to do with Valentine's Day. But we've got books right here as well, book illustrations all placed within a heart very neatly. The one I noticed doing well, which is posted recently, is this one right here with the dinosaurs. So this was posted on the 2nd of November 2022, so it's only just about 2 months old, and it's getting a lot of sales, 186k BSR. We've got some flamingos here with the same sort of concept, so definitely something worth considering if you're in the lower tiers and you want to make a more unique design for Valentine's Day. Find yourself a niche that's not as competitive. Like, yeah, dinosaurs is doing well here, but it's going to be hard if you just upload one design to actually get sales with that. So try and find a smaller niche to try and target with this strategy, or maybe even cross two different topics that often do well. Like you do books and coffee in a heart shape, just as an example to set you off there for some more ideas. Another thing I wanted to mention is if you're in the higher tiers and you see this sort of trend, what I would personally do, if you have more slots and if you've made a lot of sales before, then think about niches that do well for you anyway, like evergreen niches, and then think of the shapes and sort of silhouettes that you use within those niches, within those designs, and just place them into a heart shape, because that way you can target people within that niche that you know already sells anyway for Valentine's Day specifically. That's something I've done in the past with success, and it gets me sales every year again around the Valentine's Day sort of time. So definitely a few different ways to approach this sort of trend. I hope it helps you out, and I hope you can come up with some creative ideas. Next up, we've got January, which obviously is getting a lot of sales right now for sort of birthday related designs. And rather than just pointing out the obvious one that you see here, you know, awesome since January and a year, rather than copying that, which has been done a million times before, I wanted to point out some more unique ideas like this one right here, where it says, as a January girl, I have 3 sides to me: quiet, sweet, and crazy. Now, I'm not saying copy that exact phrase, but maybe use that sort of concept or idea and mix it with these designs. So you could make a design that's aimed at girls who are both quiet, sweet, and crazy, and that are born in January 2005, or January, what could you do? You could do 2003. That would be a 20th birthday right now. And that way you sort of use this design, which is proven to sell already because it's got a 200,000 BSR, and use the same sort of concepts in this design and make it more specific with mixing it with January of a certain year. And I'm pretty sure if you create your own version that way, you would have a better possibility of getting sales. I can't guarantee that you'll get sales, but you probably have a bigger chance of getting sales than just copying this sort of design right here that you see in the best sellers with a 90k BSR. So you could obviously also aim a design at boys or at men, husbands, granddads that are born in January specifically, rather than just making it broad and aiming it at anyone and everyone who's born this month. So try and think outside the box here and come up with a unique design style that's not been done a million times before. It's going to make it a lot easier for you to get sales and hopefully get out of tier 10 if that is your goal. Next up, we've got our first Redbubble niche or trend, and that is living the dream one nightmare at a time, which has only got 71 results, which is really good, and it's a fairly simple text-based designs. A lot of these can also definitely be improved upon in terms of the size of the font and the color schemes, legibility, that sort of stuff. Like this one, it's really hard to read with the thin and wonky fonts right here. The color scheme right here is not very nice either. I definitely prefer something like this top design right here. But yeah, if we scroll down, not too many results, all fairly similar. It's trending right now on Redbubble, and I could definitely see this sort of design also selling on TeePublic, for example. So if you do create some designs for this, upload them to other marketplaces as well. In the case that you do struggle with creating text-based designs that look a bit more unique and nicer, I did create a video about a month or two ago where I walk you through some steps that I take to make my text-based designs more interesting and more likely to sell. So make sure to check out that video in case you missed it. Niche number 6 is therapy is expensive, wind is free, which is a fun little phrase, and this has only got 174 results and is trending right now on Redbubble. So this seems to be generally related to motorbikes or well, engine related stuff we can see right here. Anything that drives you through the wind. So definitely a cool little phrase or sub niche to motorbiking. You can target this with a lot of different design styles. As you can see, none of these are really copying each other. You just need some motorcycle graphics, maybe put them onto a vintage sunset. A nice suitable font, mostly a masculine type of font would work well here. I wouldn't use too many script fonts in this case, but yeah, you can definitely be creative here and come up with a few different design ideas. Next up, we've got I get knocked down, but I get up again. 81 results, very small niche on Redbubble, and it's trending right now. So this one has got a lot of bowling designs right here, or bowling graphics related to the phrase or within the phrase. Some of them are just text-based, so once again that video might help you out, create some nicer text-based designs. But if you wanted to aim it at the bowling niche, which seems to be the sort of main theme right here, you could do that as well. What's this one? That's just a fist. So yeah, I mean, I could see it working for martial arts. Is actually the first sort of thing I expected when I read the sentence. So martial arts, fighting related graphics might work as well for this phrase, but bowling is definitely worth considering since some of the top sort of most relevant designs that Redbubble shows have bowling graphics within them. So have fun with this phrase, try and come up with some unique designs, and I hope you can get some sales within this trend. And moving on from that, we've got Just a Teacher Who Loves Moose. And this is a very fun phrase. It's got more results on Redbubble, but I still wanted to point it out because it is infinitely scalable and it is still trending, so it's definitely worth having a look into. I don't really like some of the first designs that show up because you can't read the text and the graphic is quite small. Although it might be cute, it is quite hard to see these designs. They don't cover much of the t-shirt. So we get some better ones when we scroll down, but essentially you could use the sentence just a teacher who loves and put any other animal at the end, or you could put hobbies at the end if you wanted to, and that way you've got yourself a scalable design. And not only that, but you could just exchange the word teacher for different job titles that are also popular, like just a nurse who loves, and that way go from start again and put in different animals, different hobbies. So really you've got, just with this sentence alone, like 10,000 of different options that you could come up with if you just change up a few of the words. I really like this design style right here. The colors look great, the font is nice and easy to read. It also has a friendly feeling and would definitely suit a teacher in my opinion. Very simple to create as well. Vintage sunset, put a silhouette on there, well, place the text around it. So I hope this trend will help you not just get a few extra sales with this phrase, but come up with a lot more design ideas as well. If you're looking to boost your print-on-demand sales in 2023, then watching this video next is definitely going to help you out with that, because I share 22 of my most valuable lessons with you.